Hello everyone, I invite you to every Friday review of the leading cryptocurrencies. Let's start by checking the current situation on the BTC to USDT pair, taking into account the one-day timeframe. First, we will use the blue lines to mark the uptrend channel where the BTC price is moving at the lower limit. Now we can move on to marking the places of support in the event of a correction. And here in the first place we have support that currently holds the price at $26,692. Then it is worth marking a strong support zone from $25,298 to $23,979. However, when we fall below this zone, we can see a drop around $22,002. Looking the other way, in a similar way, using the fib retracement tool, we can determine the places of resistance. First, the price has to break through the strong resistance zone from $29,050 to $29,887. When it manages to break it, we have strong resistance at $31,053. When it manages to overcome it, the price will be able to move towards the resistance at $34,324. Next, it is worth looking at the EMA cross 10 and 30, which so far indicate a downtrend. Please pay attention to the CHOP index, which indicates that most of the energy has been used. The MACD indicator indicates the maintenance of the local downtrend, while the RSI, after rebounding, a small price increase will give a visible movement on the indicator, which may pull the price lower around the previously defined support zone. As the second chart in today's review, we will check ETH against USDT, also on a single-day timeframe. First, we will use the yellow line to mark the uptrend line above which the price is currently holding. Now let's move on to marking the places of support. We will use the fib retracement tool to mark support, and as you can see, it is worth marking the strong support zone from $1,757 to $1,666 in the first place, but when the price drops below the zone, we can see a drop around $1,533. Looking the other way, we can also mark the places where the price should encounter resistance on the way to increases. And here we have the first significant resistance zone from $1,989 to $2,054. Then a strong resistance at $2,142. Only after breaking above this resistance will the price move towards $2,391. The CHOP index indicates that most of the energy has been used. The MACD indicator is in a downtrend. On the other hand, on the RSI we are moving around the middle of the range, which may cause the price to break down towards the previously mentioned support zone. As the third one, we will check the DOT chart on a one-day interval. At the beginning, we will mark with blue lines a downward triangle in which the price is currently moving. Now we will move on to mark the price support spots, and we can see that the price has dropped below the strong support at 0.6185b and is now facing a very strong support at $5.02. If it goes lower, then the next support is at $4.24. Looking the other way, we can similarly determine the places of resistance that the price has to face. And here we see that first the price will have to break the resistance zone from $5.78 to $6.18, then the second resistance zone from $6.51 to $6.84. Only after breaking above these two zones will be further increases could be observed. The CHOP index indicates that there is energy for the next move. The MACD indicates the transition to an uptrend, while the RSI is at the lower limit, thanks to which we have room for the price to start rising. The last one in today's chart is the MACD chart and pair to USDT on a one-day interval. First, we will use the blue lines to mark the uptrend channel from which the price came down. Moving on, we can move on to marking support areas when we start a larger correction. And here the first strong support is at the price of 79 cents when the price drops below. The next support is at 58 cents. Looking the other way, we see that the first resistance is at 99 cents, the second resistance is at $1.10, the third is at $1.19, and then we have a strong resistance zone from $1.28 to $1.41. Please look at the CHOP index, which indicates that most of the energy has been used. The MACD indicates a change in the trend to an upward trend, while the RSI shows that a small increase in price has given a strong move on the indicator, which in the long run can affect a quick correction. Technical analysis is provided by a third party and for informational purposes only. It does not reflect the views of CryptoDaily, nor is it intended to be used as legal, tax, investment, or financial advice.